Hey, Kings and Dragons, Dragon King 551, and I hope you guys enjoyed the bye week. We are back with Michigan breakdown videos. This is week 5 of Michigan football. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Ultimately, I want to talk about a couple of things. First off, I still do not think that the ball is on Bryce Underwood. I don't think the throwing is on him. It is still on the receivers because, yeah, there are some that were terrible throws that were like too high or off one hand and stuff, but it's the same saying as I've seen in College Football 26 video game. If you're going to get hit, might as well catch the football and stuff. You're knowing that the ball is going to be there. You've got to catch it regardless of having gloves on or anything else. I don't care if the ball is coming at you 90 miles per hour. It's a bullet pass. It's fast. Yeah, I get that he's throwing it there and stuff. Maybe it's too hard, but the receiver, it's right there in your hands. You got to catch the ball. I don't care how hard he's throwing. You got to catch it, and you're just not doing that. Another thing that upsets me, I've always said, don't raise the spread. I don't care about betting so much. I'm not a betting man myself, but ultimately, if you have the spread of higher than that, 90% of the time, teams do not cover the spread against good or decent teams like that unless it is against teams. And everyone struggles. I mean, Ohio State wasn't playing entirely great last week. They won 24 to 6. Michigan wins 24 to 10 today. It's a process. And a win's a win. I don't really care about the spread, but there are times where I would love for the team to cover it and everything, and they're just not doing that. Um, and it's called like a bad beat or whatever. Oh, pardon me for a second. I wanted to. Where the fuck is share? Oh, there it is. Uh, Wanted to optimize the sharing. Couldn't figure it out for a second. So here we go. Let's go into the stat lines. I'm not going to go into recap so much. Simmons on their side was okay. He had one interception, one sack. So we didn't get a lot of sacks on their guy today. 18 for 29, not entirely great. Let's move over to Michigan. Bryce Underwood had close to, I believe, a 66 to 68 completion percentage of 19 to 28, 270 the one touchdown and one sack. But then you got the boy Haynes again. Put that man in the Heisman. It's time to put the man up there. He's got 117 rushing yards. He has five. He's better than Blake Corum at this time because he already has in 5 starting games. No one has done that and stuff. 100 yards each game and everything. And 2 touchdowns. And then you got Marshall, who's doing really well. Bryce Underwood. Then you go down to the receivers, right? Let's talk about this. McCulley was the guy today, all right? 112 yards, 1 TD. And then you got Marsh with 80. Everyone else was kind of low. Morgan bounced back, but you got to get these other guys out here. Bell dropped one. It's a little behind him, but I get it. And you just got to play better. And also Rod Moore had the interception and everything, so it was nice to have him back. That's not him, obviously. That was Derek Moore. Time of possession. Wisconsin has us by at least 2 minutes. I don't really care that much. The total yardage though was 445. And passing yards was 270, rushing 175. So again, I told you, stop running your mouth. Stop running your mouth. You're the number one rushing defense in the league to stop the run, and you're getting clapped, and you're allowing 175 rushing yards. Now, obviously, it wasn't 400. It wasn't very explosive, but you still gave up 175 plus and everything. First downs 19 versus 13. Penalties 1 versus their 5. Turnovers 0, 1. Sacks allowed tied, and total plays 62 versus 57. Let's go into this. Now, I'm not going to go into the player stats again, but I will go into some other team stats. So, seven yards per play, only 4 for them. So they weren't as explosive as us. First downs, 19 versus 13. Third down efficiency wasn't entirely great. 5 for 12 versus their 4 for 14. And then fourth down, we went for 1 was terrible, but that's because the snapper decided to throw it low to Bryce and he had to dive on it. 4 punts versus 8 punts, 1 penalty, 0 fumbles, and 1 interception. Let's go into this. Let's go into the highlights reel. Um, Ultimately, I think that. Oh, hang on. think it stopped sharing for a second. I apologize for that. Um, Let me just see something, guys. Okay, we're back. So I don't know what the deal was with that. Uh, and this is the first drive of the game. We weren't playing great and stuff, but we played okay and everything else that was happening. So they were able to get down the field. They're playing fast. They're playing physical. And, there you go, right down the field. Oh, fumbled it out of bounds, though. I mean, if that was in play, we could have got it away. Um, and I think he just fumbles it out of bounds there. And, then they run it up our gut. And, no one is there. And he gets into the end zone, and that's a touchdown. And that was the only score for a very long time for them. And then Michigan went on the field and they just continued to dominate. And if you're gonna dominate, you're gonna dominate. And Michigan went to dominate. Here we go with Bryce Underwood. There goes Haynes. He's got a lane. He's going down the field. He's got explosiveness. Oh man, and he gets down at the 2. And then he finished the drive off, obviously. Um, but you're going to see that. And then McCauley made an incredible catch to make up for the Indiana one. So you're going to see a good block by who's that? Number 44 there, the fullback. Great guy out there. Now, obviously, he doesn't really run, but it is whatever. Haynes going outside. Touchdown, Michigan. 7-7. But our placeholder really needs to work it up because we did miss a field goal. We could have been winning this game 27. We left some points off the board. Again, another good block by there, and then you're just going to see it into the end zone. 4th and 9. They got a punt. Big punt, big punt, big punt, and oof at the oof. That is good special teams. You can't complain about that for Wisconsin. Good special teams there. I'm not going to complain about that. Gives it off to Haynes. Haynes surges forward, and I don't think he got it. I think he was short. This was the one I think he was short on. You can't just run it north and south all the time. You've got to get east to west and stuff. As you can see, he's not over the line. He's short. He doesn't really try bringing it over, and he should have tried diving over the top like Blake did. Call on the field is first down. It's overturned. It's 4th down. Punt. Underwood gives it off. He's back to throw. No, I thought he was giving it off. Gives it off to Marsh. Marsh jumps. He's got it. That's a catch. What a leaping catch by him. Oh man, gets the foot down. What a play. And you can see from this angle, he just gets a good play there. Balls up. Marsh says, "Excuse me, pardon me, I'm a freshman, but I still can get my foot down and play well." And that's a first down for my team. And then obviously they stall out here. And sacked. The offensive line needs to get better. I think that some of our guys are banged up, so hopefully we have them back against USC because that's a tough place to play. It's up. It's good. It could have been 13-7 at one point. Underwood back to throw. He says, "No, I'm not going to fire it to that guy. I'm going to give it back to Marsh." Marsh has got the first down, and that is a beautiful play there. He is not going to do anything. See, he doesn't like it. He's rolling out. He sees Haynes. He's like, "Nah, I don't like that. I'm going to go deeper, and I'm going to find a guy that's wide open." Back to throw. He's in trouble. Gets escapist artist. Fires. Gives it off to Morgan. Morgan fumbles it, but he's got it back. Oh, no. And he fumbles it again. Beautiful throw. Some good karma there. Tips it. Oh, it's tipped. No, I got it. I'm going to stay with it. I got you, Bryce. And then he fumbles it. And then he's able to jump back on it. 3rd and goal. Back to throw. He's looking in trouble. Fires. I don't know. That could have been pass interference. It wasn't catchable. And then, yeesh. At the 27-yard line? Are you kidding me? Back to throw. Underwood looking. Fires! Caught by McCauley. That's a catch. A little leaping catch, and he's able to get his foot down. That's to make up for the Nebraska catch last week. And then that guy is in his face, but he's able to get his foot down and get the heel down. So that is a catch. You can see it from this angle. Gets the foot down, tight roping it, and that is a beautiful catch. And then McCauley, I think next play is able to say, "You know what? I'm going to go finish the drive for my guys." After review, it is a completed pass. That makes up for the Nebraska one last week where he couldn't get his foot down and or 2 weeks ago, pardon me, gives it off to McCulley. He says, "Let me finish the drive, Bryce," and he does. He gets off the guy and he accelerates into the end zone touchdown. Not bringing out my pen for this one. There's not really a lot that I need to highlight in this game, and Bryce Underwood just celebrating a little bit, and McCulley loving it. And what happens here is that, yeah, see, that guy is highlighted. That guy is also highlighted. You're going to see the blitz and stuff. Instead of running it and, as Joel Klatt said, bashing your head up against a wall, let's give it off to a running back. I mean, a wide receiver, sorry, instead of running the ball to our running back. And again, those guys had no discipline. They didn't go low and to tackle him. What a mistake. Fires, and it's caught. And then we do nothing with it, though, when we get an interception. Beautiful catch there. You really can't complain. But I think that was Berry. Berry was doing really well all game long and stuff. And that was one play that was broken for him. But it was nice to see Rod Moore back. Fires! Rod Moore! Sit off! Welcome back, Rod Moore, going to number 19. The man who got the interception against Ohio State. Seems familiar, right? Picked off by Rod Moore. Guess who? Rod Moore. And again, there's some holding down there. There weren't really a lot of flags, though. But then we do nothing with the ball. And, I think we tackle him here. We get away with it. But the ball is underthrown. So if the ball is underthrown and he's yelling, he's spitting, the Wisconsin coach, sorry, I said the Nebraska coach. But I think what you have to remember is that if the ball is underthrown, it's not really a catchable thing. Gives it off to Morgan. He's in trouble. He breaks the tackle. He's got a lane. He accelerates, and he's got to the 20. I think the 20, something like that. Morgan, and yeah, this is the 4th and 2. We went for it. We should have just kicked it. We would have been 20, and then we would have been up 27. Left some points off the board. We get those 2 threes. That's 6 plus the 24. It would have been 30, and everything else. And we get it batted around. Number 15 though says he could have caught that with his hands. And is that Handsome? Handsome? Yeah, he could have caught that, but it is what it is. Uh, Fake it. Looks, fires, gives it to McCulley again. McCulley says, "Excuse me, pardon me." They're not going to show her the Kendrick Bell catch, but it was a little bit behind him. And McCulley says, "I am the guy today. I am him." And he goes up and gets it. And then Haynes is going to score here. Haynes is going to say, "Excuse me, pardon me. Oh, yep. Oh, yes." And I'm going to surge forward. Touchdown, Michigan, 24-7. And then we decided to play soft zone, and I don't understand. As the saying always says, you never let the lion or the tiger up and stuff when you have the foot on its neck and everything. Or in this case, the badger. You have your foot on the badger's neck. Why are you letting them up? And they just go down the field here, and it's ridiculous because Michigan shouldn't have even allowed that to happen. 4th and 4, looking, and he fires a one-handed catch, which is a little arrogant for my liking at times, but you got to do what you got to do to catch the ball. And ultimately, he catches the ball and he does his thing. And that's going to be problematic for a lot of teams, and ultimately it's going to be problematic for it. And he's like, "Oof, wow, what a catch!" 3rd and 8. And this is finally the sack. Here comes who's that? Moore and Benny came through. Benny was getting held though. That could have been a holding call. And you just don't see it. And Moore's able to come off the side, and he's angry. He is pissed. He hasn't been able to get a sack all game, and he's pissed. And Benny gets held and fall into the ground. Get on the ground. Sit down, man. And then Wisconsin decided to be stupid. They didn't even call timeouts to try to get the ball back. So you don't even need to see this. This is 31, and Marshall got the lane, and then he is gone down to the 2. And that pretty much ends the game. There's no point to even snap it. 24-10 is the final score. The Michigan Wolverines are back. But I don't know how I feel about the game ultimately. I personally think there are some things to still clean up when you go on the road against USC in a toxic environment. In that next coming game, you're going to have to play hard. You're going to have to play physical. And then ultimately, the other thing that really baffles me as a Michigan fan is, are Sharon Moore and Chip Lindsey still batting heads? Because if they're batting heads, we're going to have a tough, tough season with us. Because I think right now, Moore still seems like the problem to me, because in those games, even though they were weaker opponents, we're playing really well and stuff. We're throwing it. We're using his legs. We're moving. We're moving the pocket around. We're using what we did against J.J. McCarthy, and we're just not doing that against against this team. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it. A win's a win. I'll say that much. We won by 14, but it's not going to move us too much up in the rankings. And ultimately, this is just a mistake of having and playing terrible, terrible football at the end of the game and just playing lethargic and playing soft zone and just playing this letting up when you do that. You never let up. You never let up. Now, if you're winning the game by 60 plus points and the score is 63 to 7, and then they go down the field and make it 63 to 14, I don't care. We've won at that point. But when you're somewhat in a close game where it's 24-7 and they can make it 24-14 in a close gap and stuff, and they're not that far out, and then you're only down 10 points, kick an onside and potentially get it back, it's up there. And, Michigan needs to get the ball back. And, I'm sorry, Wisconsin needs to get the ball back, and Michigan's got to take care of it better. And, that be 24-10 as the final score is not necessarily explosive enough for me, but a win is a win. I'll say that again. A win is a win. But at the same time, there are two different types of winning. There's winning where you're so much better than that team that they didn't even deserve to play you and stuff or be there with you. And then there's winning where you've played close games and said, all right, we were slightly better than them, or we still think that we're better than you because of that. Take 2023 Michigan, for example. There were some close games towards the end of the season, Penn State, Ohio State, Maryland, and they went on to go 15-0, win the national championship. And teams have played close games before. Oregon is an example against Penn State last weekend and stuff. And, in an overtime victory, and they still prove that they're a top 2 team in the country, or a top 5 team, top 10 team in the country. And, sometimes playing a close game is not bad, but at the same time, we want to get better. We want to get better. We want to play better when we play Ohio State. We want to play better when we're on the road against USC in a toxic environment. We want to get better and better and better and better and better. That way, when the time comes and we potentially have a playoff berth and we have to play an SEC team or another Big Ten team or someone as a tough opponent, we're ready for them. But that's all I got for you guys. And the last thing I'll say, the receivers need to work on the catching. Work on the catching in practice this week, because I cannot stand the bullshit that happens with it. But that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. Hail to the victors. Go blue. We're 4-1. We'll see if we can continue this pace and be potentially 10-1 when we play Ohio State.